I'm 99 years old. I buried my sister 43 years ago. Her name was Maria. She was only 56. The day they lowered her into the ground, I stood there with dirt on my hands, and I made a promise. I promised I would not waste another breath the way she did. I promised I would not let silence kill me the way it killed her. Maria died with words stuck in her throat. She died with dreams folded in drawers. She died carrying other people's expectations like stones in her pockets until she couldn't stand anymore. And I was there. I watched it all happen. I watched her fade, piece by piece, year by year. And I said nothing because I was doing the same things. I was drowning in the same water. I just didn't know it yet. Maria used to laugh. I remember that. When we were young, before life got heavy, before she learned to apologize for taking up space, she would laugh so loud the neighbors would hear. But somewhere along the way, she stopped. She learned to be quiet. She learned to be small. She learned to carry everyone else's weight and call it love. And it destroyed her. It destroyed her body. It destroyed her spirit. It destroyed any chance she had of living a life that felt like hers. I'm here now at the end of everything, with this body that barely moves and this heart that's still beating somehow. And I need to tell you what I learned. I need to tell you what killed Maria, because it's killing you too. Maybe you don't see it yet. Maybe you think you have time. Maybe you think tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow is a lie we tell ourselves so we can survive today. Tomorrow doesn't exist. There's only this moment, this breath, this choice. Maria did 5 things that I watched destroy her from the inside out. I did them too. Most people do. We don't talk about these things because they seem small. They seem normal. But they're not small. They're poison. They're slow death dressed up as responsibility, as politeness, as love. And if you're doing them, if you're carrying them right now, I need you to stop. I need you to put them down before it's too late, because it will be too late. One day you'll be where I am, looking back at all the years that slipped through your fingers, and you'll wish someone had told you the truth. The first thing Maria did, the thing that broke her slowly, was this. She lived for everyone except herself. She gave and gave and gave until there was nothing left. Her husband wanted her to be quieter, softer, easier, so she became those things. Her children needed her to be strong, to never falter, to hold the whole house together, so she did. Her mother expected her to visit every Sunday, to cook the meals, to keep the traditions alive, so she showed up every week even when her body screamed for rest. Her friends leaned on her when their lives fell apart, and she held them up even when she was crumbling. And slowly, bit by bit, Maria disappeared. She became a collection of other people's needs. She became a mirror reflecting everyone else's desires. And the woman she was, the woman who laughed too loud and dreamed too big, that woman died long before her body did. I watched it happen. I was there at family dinners when she would sit at the end of the table, exhausted, serving everyone else while her own plate stayed empty. I was there when she canceled plans with herself again and again because someone else needed something. I was there when she apologized for feeling tired, for wanting time alone, for having needs at all. And I said nothing. I did nothing, because I was doing the same thing. I was erasing myself too. We thought that's what love was. We thought sacrifice meant disappearing. But that's not love. That's self-destruction. And it cost Maria everything. If you're doing this, if you're living for everyone but yourself, stop. Stop now. Stop before your body breaks. Stop before you forget who you are. Stop before you wake up one day and realize you spent your entire life being what other people needed and never once asked what you needed, because you matter. Your needs matter. Your dreams matter. Your rest matters. And if you don't start living for yourself, no one else will do it for you. They'll take everything you give and ask for more, because that's what you taught them to do. Maria taught everyone around her that she didn't matter, and they believed her. Don't make that mistake. If this is touching something in you, if you're feeling this weight I'm describing, stay with me. Subscribe to this channel. I don't have much time left, but I have more to say. I have more truth to share, and maybe, just maybe, it will save you from the regrets that haunt me every single night. The second thing Maria did was hold on to anger like it was a treasure. She collected every hurt, every betrayal, every careless word someone spoke to her, and she kept them. She stored them in her chest where her breath should have been. She replayed them at night when she couldn't sleep. She fed them. She watered them. She let them grow until there was no room left for anything else. And that anger, that bitterness, it ate her alive from the inside. I remember when it started. Maria was 23. She was engaged to a man named Thomas. They were supposed to get married in the spring. She had the dress all ready. She had planned everything. And then one day, 3 months before the wedding, Thomas told her he couldn't do it. He said he loved someone else. He said he was sorry. And he left. Just like that. Maria was destroyed. I held her while she cried. I watched her heart break in ways I didn't know hearts could break. But then something shifted. The sadness turned into something harder, something colder. She stopped crying and started hating. She hated Thomas. She hated the woman he left her for. She hated herself for not being enough. And she never let it go. Years passed. Maria married someone else. She had children. She built a life. But that anger was still there, buried deep, poisoning everything. She would bring up Thomas at random moments, at dinner, during holidays, in the middle of conversations that had nothing to do with him. She would say his name like a curse. She would tell the story over and over, always ending with how he ruined her, how he took something from her she could never get back. And I would listen, and I would nod, and inside I would feel so tired, 'cause I knew what she was doing. She was choosing to stay broken. She was choosing to keep that wound open because it gave her something to hold on to. It gave her an identity. It gave her a reason for why her life felt so heavy. But here's what Maria didn't understand, what I didn't understand until it was too late. Holding on to anger doesn't hurt the people who hurt you. It only hurts you. Thomas moved on. He lived his life. He probably forgot about Maria years ago. But Maria never forgot. She carried him with her everywhere. She let him live in her mind, in her body, in her marriage, in her relationship with her children. She let him steal decades from her, not because he was there, but because she refused to let him go. I did the same thing. I held grudges against people who didn't even remember my name. I replayed conversations from 30 years ago where someone said something cruel or dismissive. I built walls around my heart to protect myself from people who had long since left my life. And all that protection, all that anger, It didn't keep me safe. It kept me alone. It kept me small. It kept me from ever being fully present with the people who actually love me because I was too busy guarding against ghosts. Maria's anger made her sick. I don't mean that as a metaphor. I mean it literally made her sick. She had headaches that wouldn't stop. She had stomach problems for years. Her blood pressure was always high. Her body was trying to tell her something, but she wouldn't listen. The doctors gave her pills. They told her to reduce stress. But how do you reduce stress when you're carrying 40 years of rage inside you? How do you rest when your mind won't stop replaying every injustice? She died angry. That's what breaks my heart the most. In her last days, when she was in the hospital bed, too weak to move, she was still talking about people who had wronged her. She was still listing their names. She was still holding on. And I sat beside her, holding her hand, and I wanted to scream. I wanted to shake her. I wanted to tell her to let it go, to use her last breaths for something beautiful, for something that mattered. But she couldn't. The anger had become who she was. It had roots so deep she didn't know how to pull them out anymore. If you're holding on to anger, if you're feeding old wounds, if you're replaying past hurts like they're happening right now, please listen to me. Let it go. I know it feels impossible. I know it feels like letting go means they win, means what they did was okay. But that's not what it means. Letting go means you win. It means you take your life back. It means you stop giving them power over your present and over your future, over your peace. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about choosing to be free. The third thing Maria did, and this one is harder to admit, is she never said what she really felt. She swallowed her truth every single day. She smiled when she wanted to scream. She said yes when she meant no. She pretended everything was fine when inside she was falling apart. And that silence, that constant performance of being okay, it killed something essential in her. It killed her voice. It killed her authenticity. It killed any chance she had of being truly known by anyone, including herself. Maria was married for 32 years to a man named David. David was a good man in many ways. He provided. He didn't drink. He didn't raise his hand. But he didn't see her either. He didn't ask what she needed. He didn't notice when she was drowning. And Maria never told him. She never said, "I'm not happy." She never said, "I feel invisible." She never said, "I need more than this." She just kept going, kept cooking his meals, kept cleaning his house, kept sleeping beside him in silence. And the gap between who she was and who she pretended to be grew wider every year until she didn't recognize herself anymore. I asked her once, maybe 10 years before she died, I asked her why she stayed quiet, why she never told David the truth. And she looked at me with these tired eyes and she said, "What's the point? What would it change?" And I didn't have an answer then, but I have one now. The point is, you get to live as yourself. The point is, you don't die with your truth locked inside you. The point is, maybe nothing changes. Maybe he doesn't understand. Maybe it's too late, but at least you tried. At least you honored yourself enough to speak. Maria died with 1,000 unsaid words trapped in her throat. She died without ever telling David that she felt alone, even when he was right next to her. She died without telling her children that she had dreams once, dreams that had nothing to do with being a mother or a wife, dreams that were just hers. She died without telling her mother that the Sunday visits felt like obligation instead of love, that she was tired of pretending, tired of performing. She died without ever saying out loud that she was angry, that she was sad, that she needed help, that she was scared. And all those words, all that truth, it died with her. Nobody knew who she really was. Not even me. Not really. I think about that all the time now. I think about how many people walk around carrying their real selves like secrets, like something shameful that needs to be hidden. We learn so young to be quiet, to not make waves, to keep the peace. We learn that our feelings are too much, that our needs are burdensome, that our truth will hurt people or drive them away. So we lock it all up. We smile and nod. We say, I'm fine when we're dying inside. And we think we're being strong. We think we're being mature. But we're not. We're just disappearing. I did it too. For decades, I walked around pretending to be someone I wasn't. I laughed at jokes I didn't find funny. I went to events I had no interest in. I stayed in relationships that felt empty because I didn't want to be difficult. I didn't want to be the problem. And the cost of that silence was enormous. The cost was my life, the real one, the one where I got to be honest and messy and fully human. I traded that life for approval, for peace, for the comfort of not rocking the boat. And now here I am, almost a century old, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that the boat wasn't worth saving. If you're holding back your truth right now, if you're swallowing words that need to be said, if you're pretending to be okay when you're not, please stop. Speak. Even if your voice shakes. Even if people don't understand. Even if it makes things uncomfortable. Speak anyway. Because your truth matters. Your feelings matter. You matter. And a life lived in silence is not a life at all. It's just a long, slow erasure. The fourth thing that destroyed Maria was this. She never let herself rest. She wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. She believed that if she stopped moving, if she stopped producing, if she stopped being useful, she would lose her value. So she pushed and pushed and pushed until her body gave out. She martyred herself on the altar of productivity and called it virtue. I remember Maria's kitchen. It was always spotless. Always. Even when she was sick, even when she could barely stand, she would be in that kitchen scrubbing counters that were already clean, organizing cabinets that were already organized. Her children would beg her to sit down. Her husband would tell her it could wait. But she couldn't stop. She couldn't allow herself the simple grace of rest, because somewhere deep inside, she believed that her worth was tied to what she did, not who she was. Our mother raised us that way. She taught us that idle hands were sinful, that rest was laziness, that a good woman never stopped working, and we absorbed that poison without question. We carried it into our adult lives like it was truth instead of trauma. Maria worked herself to death, literally, and she thought she was doing the right thing. She thought she was being responsible, being admirable, being strong. But strength isn't refusing to rest. Strength is knowing when to stop. Strength is honoring your limits. Strength is understanding that you are a human being, not a machine, and that your body needs care, needs softness, needs permission to just be. Maria never gave herself that permission. She ran on empty for so long that when her body finally broke down, when the cancer came, there was nothing left to fight with. She had spent all her energy keeping everyone else comfortable. There was none left for her own survival. I watch people now, and I see Maria everywhere. I see people grinding themselves into dust, sacrificing sleep, ignoring pain, pushing through exhaustion because they think that's what they're supposed to do. I see them wearing their busy schedules like armor, like proof of their importance. And I want to grab them by the shoulders and tell them what I know now. Nobody cares how much you suffered. Nobody's going to thank you for destroying yourself. And when you're gone, when your body finally says enough, the world will keep spinning. The work will get done by someone else. And all that sacrifice, all that relentless pushing, it won't have meant anything except that you lost the chance to actually live. Rest is not earned. You don't have to deserve it. You don't have to wait until everything is finished, because everything is never finished. There will always be more to do. Always another task, another responsibility, another person who needs something. But if you don't rest, if you don't stop and breathe and let yourself be still, you will break. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. And when you do, all those things you thought were so important, they won't matter anymore. If you're hearing this, if something in these words is reaching you, I need you to know you're not alone. Subscribe if you want to keep listening. I have more to tell you. Time is short for me, but maybe not for you. Maybe you still have a chance to choose differently. The fifth thing Maria did, the final thing that sealed her fate, was she lived in the past and the future, but never in the present. She spent her life either mourning what was gone or worrying about what might come. She was never here, never now, never in the moment that was actually happening. And because of that, she missed her entire life. It passed by while she was looking the other way. Maria would sit at the dinner table with her family, and her mind would be somewhere else. She would be thinking about a conversation from 20 years ago, replaying it, changing the words, imagining what she should have said. Or she would be worrying about next month, next year, what might go wrong, what disaster might be waiting around the corner. Her children would be talking to her and she wouldn't hear them. Her husband would reach for her hand and she wouldn't feel it. Life was happening right in front of her and she was absent. She was a ghost in her own existence. I remember one afternoon, it was summer. The sun was coming through her window in that golden way it does near evening. Her youngest daughter, Elena, was maybe 7 years old then. Elena came running into the kitchen where Maria was washing dishes, and she was holding a flower she had picked from the garden. It was just a dandelion, nothing special. But to Elena, it was treasure. She held it up to Maria with so much pride, so much love, and she said, "Look, Mama, I picked this for you." And Maria, she glanced at it for half a second, said, "That's nice, sweetheart," and went back to scrubbing a pot that was already clean. Elena stood there for a moment, holding that flower, and then she put it on the counter and walked away. I saw her face. I saw the light go out. That moment, that tiny moment, it broke my heart. Because I knew Maria loved Elena. I knew she would have given her life for that child. But she wasn't present. She was trapped in her head, trapped in her worries, trapped in her regrets, and she missed the gift that was right in front of her. And that happened over and over, hundreds of times, thousands of times, until all those missed moments added up to a missed life. Maria died, and her children spoke at her funeral. They said kind things. They said she was a good mother, that she worked hard, that she sacrificed everything for them. But I could hear what they weren't saying. I could hear the distance in their voices, because Maria never let them really know her. She was always too busy, too worried, too lost in her own mind to be fully there with them. And now she's gone, and they're left with memories of a woman who was physically present but emotionally absent. They're left wondering who she really was, what she really felt, what she really wanted. And they'll never know, because she never showed up long enough to tell them. I did this too. I spent so many years living anywhere but here. I spent my 20s regretting my teens. I spent my 30s anxious about my 40s. I spent my 50s mourning my 30s. And meanwhile, life was happening. Real life. The only life I was ever going to get. And I was missing it. I was trading the present moment for imaginary ones that either already happened or might never happen. I was choosing suffering over presence, and I didn't even realize what I was doing until it was almost too late. Now I'm here. I'm 99 years old. My body is failing. Every breath takes effort. And I have this clarity that only comes when you can see the end approaching. I understand now what matters, and it's so simple it almost hurts. What matters is now, this moment, this breath, this conversation, this feeling, this person in front of you, this flower, this sunset, this ordinary Tuesday afternoon that you think is nothing special. That's it. That's everything. And we miss it. We miss it because we think there's something more important waiting somewhere else. But there isn't. This is it. This is the whole thing. If you're living in the past, if you're replaying old hurts or old glories, if you're stuck in what was or what could have been, come back. Come back to now. The past is gone. You can't change it. You can't fix it. You can't relive it. All you can do is learn from it and let it go. And if you're living in the future, if you're constantly worrying about what might happen, if you're waiting for some perfect moment when everything will finally be okay, stop waiting. That moment isn't coming. Or if it does come, you'll be so busy worrying about the next thing that you'll miss it too. The only moment you have is this one, right now. And if you're not here for it, you're not really alive. You're just enduring. You're just surviving. And that's not enough, not for the one life you get. Maria died without ever really living. She existed. She functioned. She performed her role. But she never dropped into the fullness of being here, being present, being alive in her own skin. And that's the tragedy. Not that she died. We all die. But that she never really lived. She spent her whole life preparing for something, protecting herself from something, recovering from something. She never just was. And I'm telling you this because I don't want that for you. I don't want you to reach the end of your life and realize you spent it somewhere else, always looking back or looking ahead, never looking at what's right in front of you. I don't want you to miss your children growing up because you were too stressed about work. I don't want you to miss the taste of your food because you were scrolling on your phone. I don't want you to miss the feeling of sun on your face because you were trapped in your thoughts. I don't want you to miss your life. These 5 things, they seem small when you're in the middle of them. Living for others, holding on to anger, swallowing your truth, refusing to rest, living anywhere but the present. They seem manageable. They seem like just the way things are, but they're not. They're choices, and they're killing you, slowly, quietly, the same way they killed Maria, the same way they almost killed me. I'm still here, barely, held together by will and stubbornness and maybe grace. And I'm using whatever time I have left to tell you what I learned too late. You don't have to live this way. You can put down the weight. You can speak your truth. You can rest. You can forgive. You can come back to this moment and actually live it. It's not too late. Not yet. But it will be. One day it will be. And on that day, the only thing that will matter is whether you really lived or whether you just went through the motions. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep sacrificing yourself? Keep carrying grudges that serve no one? Keep pretending to be okay when you're dying inside? Keep running yourself into the ground? Keep missing the beauty that's right in front of you? Or are you going to choose differently? Are you going to choose presence? Choose truth? Choose rest? Choose forgiveness? Choose life? I hope you choose life. I hope you choose it today, right now, because that's all you have, this moment, this breath, this choice. If this resonates, share this video, leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Subscribe, because I have more truths to share and not much time left. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do with your time?